Hello there, this is Rom coming back at you with yet another car video. It's in the raining joint. Anyway, her beauty is in her eyes. Now, I've talked about this before, but this is something I was motivated to talk about because you know how, some of these dudes got these videos online talking about the most beautiful woman. And I'm looking at these women and I'm like, well, I don't know if I would call them beautiful. One, they didn't have that butt dunk. They're looking like they ain't reached puberty yet. Looking like young girls and shit. Maybe that's why certain men want women that are, look like little girls and shit. Little twisted ass men. She had their throat slit. But anyway, I was looking at it and I was thinking about that. I was like, I know for myself, like, yeah, you do have some women out there, got a good consensus. But it depends on the man. Like, coming from the gym, there's a woman in there, a couple dudes be checking out. But she ain't no skinny thing. She ain't no skinny thing. They be using the word stallion with her. I mean, she cool. She nice. She a nice person. But she built legitimate brick house. Stallion. Y'all know what I mean when I say stallion. Like a real stallion and shit. Like I used to say, sitting on a 40 inches. 40-inch waist and stuff. But see, some dudes will like it, but then some other dudes will call her big. Or, they say big, even though she got a flat ass stomach. But she got those big breasts, and she do got a snatched waist. And she got that big old butt dunk. And she got those nice old hips and those thick thighs. Which saves lives. I don't see her calves as much. She don't really be showing her calves. But a couple dudes in there, Goodbar types be saying, yeah, calling her a stallion. But see, that's them. And now some other men, they might not say that. But see, here's the thing. Here's my point with all of this. As a man, you don't worry about the next man. You don't be one of those men who trying to impress other men. You only worry about what gets your dick hard. Now, I've talked about this before, but it's come up again. Because you get some guys and they be swearing all out. They want to argue with you. They want to argue with you about some woman. Like what you like. I mean, I've had that, Like I remember this one dude, because I was pressed about this one young lady. And now she definitely had that progression. But, and I mentioned her before. When she got her clothes on, she could look fat. But you get those clothes off, she had a flat waist. She had a legitimate snatched waist. Legitimate. But she just had big breasts and a big old butt dump. Nice hips and those thick thighs. Save lives. But even if that wasn't the case, it's still what I wanted. It's still what I wanted. Because you do have some guys out there for whatever reason, like that one with that little stomach on them. Now, they ain't necessarily me. Necessarily. Now, I've dealt with some women got a nice little stomach on them. But, at the end of the day, it's what you want. It's what you want. You don't worry about the rest. Don't be one of these guys out here thinking that you gotta impress other men. It's whatever your dick like. It's wherever your dick wanna go. Because, and I ain't mentioned, because I had talked about this before, because some people might remember when I had that young lady I was going out with at the time. And I never forget when this guy said, oh, well, I could get Uncle Rom, I could get you better women. I was like, what the fuck, man? This is where my dick, why you worried about, as another man, you worried about where my dick going? See, the beauty got to be in your eyes. See, here's the thing. It's even more than that. As a man, that's where you can be selfish. And you don't give a fuck. You don't explain it. Whatever that woman look like. As long as you like her, that's all that matters. Now, if you don't like her, that's a bigger problem. That's the only issue you should get. Or even, let me twist that around a little bit. Because sometimes you'll get a woman. Oops. Yeah, it's a little rainy out this month. But sometimes you might get a woman you might not think much of. I remember in college there was this woman, and she was cool with me, but other guys were like, man, she fine. I was like, who y'all talking about? I ain't thinking about her, right? And I mean, she was beautiful, but you know, the way they were going crazy, I was like, man, you know, and that's cool though. That's cool. You worry about whatever that you like, whatever that you find attractive. You don't worry about other guys, because, you know, other guys, they'll tell you some shit. They'll be like, nah, I wouldn't mess with her. Then as soon as you break up with her, the second you break up with her, one of those other guys be all up on her. Like, I remember this woman I was dealing with in college. Now, I ain't think, you know what, this one guy kept calling her this and that, right? And she was thick. And she there was some stuff she could have worked on. There was some good ass pussy though. But he was talking all that stuff, but he was saying all that stuff, but I peeped whenever he was around, he'd be all up on her. I was like, hold up, dude. Hold up. See, you don't worry about it. You don't worry about whatever. Hold up, let me slow down. You know, I ain't seen Popo around. I ain't seen Popo around in a little bit. I wonder what's up with that. Yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, it's good. It's running near the end of the month too. I better watch out tomorrow. Remember what I said though. Around the end of the month, they be trying to get those tickets and stuff. And then remember also what I said around the end of the month. If you got to buy a car or anything, buy it around either today or tomorrow. End of the month. Yeah, that's just some life game. Throw some life game in for you. Back to my regularly scheduled program. Whatever a woman looks like, whatever she's about, it has to be your taste, because you're the one who has to deal with that woman. Don't worry about trying to impress everybody else, because you got some guys out there, they want to impress everybody else. They want to impress these people. But hold up. Let me think for a second. Impress them for what? Who are these guys? Are these guys giving you money? Are they like helping you to make money? Do you work for them? What are these other guys giving? You need to only worry about where your dick is going, who getting your dick hard. You know, old school, they used to call it the boner test. Because I've seen some women, and I've even talked about this on my Patreon. I've seen some women, man, they might be average looking in the face, but something about them sexy as shit. Something about them is sexy as shit. In fact, I would just say, personally, now anybody can still do what they want to do. Personally, I'd rather the woman be sexy than, she can be average looking and sexy than beautiful and not sexy. And let me hit that real quick, because I had talked about sex appeal and looks ain't the same thing. I met some women who are real pretty, but they were just like, I met a few like that. They was just like, Then I met some women who were average at best, just on bone structure, but their sex appeal was like, pow, like something through the roof. And my joint like talking to itself. Shoot, talking to me, it's like, yeah, man, let's go with that. Shoot, one of the sexiest women I ever dealt with was a woman, she in her 60s now, older than me. My shit was just like bang, 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 man. It's like, You know, that's me. Now, somebody else might be like, but you know what? That's cool. See, one thing, when you in this thing of ours we call game, you gotta get who you like. You ain't trying to impress anybody else. No matter what they say, they can say whatever. They can say it. And there's plenty of dudes, they'll see like, well, I wouldn't go out with her. Okay, then you won't go out with her, then you don't have to worry about it. Like I've said before, that dude don't have to, you could look at that dude and say, okay, I don't have to worry about you trying to holler at her. And like I said, sometimes somebody could say something and say they wouldn't do anything, and then as soon as you break up from that woman, shoot, they up there trying to holler themselves. You'd be like, what the fuck? See, don't worry about it. See, it is something too, and it's something to take in consideration with that. A lot of dudes be some dirty macking anyway, or trying to mess with you, or they'll say something about that woman. Oh, I wouldn't deal with her, or you ain't right with her, and they really just on some dirty macking shit. Because let's just be real. A lot of dudes ain't cool with each other when it come to the pussy. A lot of dudes will try to fuck with your shit, break them up, and break you up. They want that woman for themselves, so they'll try to get in your ear and stuff and be like, nah, I wouldn't deal with her. Yeah. Double back home one day. Shit, that might be the my bad man. He was like, man, I just couldn't help it. He wouldn't even say my bad. You walk in on him, you say, man, I just couldn't help it. It was just something about her. Speaking of that, though, man, put a 1 in the description box or in the comments if you ever came across that woman. Probably wouldn't be considered like somebody who would win a beauty contest, or somebody who all that. If you were going to give him a number, you might be like a 5 or even a Foxy 4. Shout out cousin T-Tar. He talks about Foxy 4s. But you still get, you still got, it was just something about her. Like if you one of those dudes, you ran into one of those something about them women. You ever run into like a woman like that though? It's just something about them. It's just something about them. Like, I'm big on that, spending money and stuff. I'm real big. But back when I would spend money on a woman, back before body game, I remember this one woman I went out with. I mentioned her before. Now, at the time, I spent like $100 on her on a date, right? And all I got was a kiss on the cheek. And I didn't mind. But you know what? Everybody was like, there's something about her. It really was. But looking back at it, she wasn't all that as far as her face, body build, whatever. But it was just something about her. You ever come across that type of woman? Put a 1 in the comment section. But getting back to the main thing, whatever the case, whatever the woman look like, it's up to you. It's up to you. Don't get caught up into what somebody else is saying. Don't get caught up like it, because you're the one who has to deal with the woman. You're the one who has to be naked with the woman. You're the one who has to be in a relationship with the woman. You have your own taste. See, that's one area don't worry about everybody else. Don't worry about trying to impress everybody else. All right. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. People be acting like they can't drive along here. It's like they give me enough space, man. Yeah, shit. Be up there tripping and stuff. Wait a minute. Okay, let me go and do this thing. I just gotta watch that corner, one of those weird corners. Yeah. But her beauty really is in your eyes. Whatever you like. You might like that style. You say, I like that style. I like that woman sitting on a 40. And that's just a 40-inch hip. Just, if I ain't say it earlier. I like them. I like that big, thick one. You get your hands up in there. Shit. Get those thick thighs now. Those, yeah. You say, they can crush you, yeah. But see, somebody else might like something different. Because every man's going to like something different. Because even, you notice, like, even when I talk about beauty and stuff, and I'm going to have an on-demand video talking about consensus beauties. Now, you do have some women out there, consensus. And when I say consensus, anybody can look at them, even across races, and say, okay, yeah, they are. Even across races, they gonna look at them differently. Because there ain't nothing universal. Ain't nothing universal. Because, look, I'm gonna bring race, let me bring race into it. You know, what some upper class white guy might consider physically attractive, some dude in the hood might not consider physically attractive. Shoot, it's the same. It's the same way if you reverse that. Somebody in a trailer park might see a woman as attractive, but might not be seen as attractive by somebody who's upper class. You know, it's just different. But then, even then, it still come down to the individual, no matter what. No matter what. Just like I talk about, you get women out here, they like different types. They like different types. They ain't gonna like different types. You know, some of y'all like, you know, some of y'all want that woman sitting on that 40 with those big old legs and shit. Some like those big breastises. I seen some guys, shoot. Some guys like them just real slim. Whatever the case, it's you. You stay proud of that shit. You stay proud of it. You don't worry about the next man. Because the next man ain't you. You don't let somebody try to talk you. New roundabout. Now what they talking about? Now I just saw a sign. They talking about a new roundabout. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. Yeah. You know, but, and the thing is, just, I mean, and really, that really just come down, because I know a lot of dudes, you know, only a small percentage watch my Sovereign Man visit. Let's just say you just being sovereign in who you want. You make the choice. You don't let anybody else make the choice for you. You don't let anybody else tell you what you want will get your dick hard. You know that. Nobody can fuck with that. Nobody can mess with that. You decide what you want, what you dealing with, what makes you happy, what type of woman you want. Because I was even thinking about the women that get my attention the most. And it might not be the same as that other dude. Or that other dude. Or yet that other dude. I can be in a room with 100 men. We might not be checking out the same woman. But we don't need to. As a man, you just worry about who make you happy, who look good to you, who has what you have. Shoot, even a butterface. Some dudes ain't pressed about a woman's face. As long as, you know, she could be a butterface, as long as she got that nice old body. Like, I know a woman, I ain't thought about this woman. She a true to the game butterface, but got one of the best bodies I ever seen on a human female. One of the best bodies. Maybe the best. I'd put her up there. I gotta really think about that. Like, shaped killer body from neck to toe. Her face, though, if I just showed the face, she'd be like, But you know what? Some dudes will probably tear at it. And that's cool. That's up to them. because you got to be the one comfortable walking around with her. You got to be the one. Now, if you ain't comfortable walking around with her, like some dudes that mess with some woman, and they really don't want, except she giving up the pussy. Yeah, and that could be a problem. That can be a problem. One thing I will say is, if you don't find some attraction in her, no matter what she's doing for you, don't mess with her, because you'll end up cheating on her anyway. You're not being honest. Like I would always tell a man, be honest with your dealings with the woman. Don't deal with somebody knowing, like thinking you're just going to get the pussy. And let's just be real. Many men will just mess with a woman just because she's giving up the pussy. But they don't want to be out with her. Those are usually the cases where the man won't show up to wherever with her. Man. And they be having, they getting these restaurants around here. They must have had some money. Anyway. But the beauty is in your eyes, and you know, don't apologize for it. See, let me hit that part real quick. If a guy say, "Why you mess with her?" Just look at that motherfucker and be like, "Cause I want to." That's it. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to do whatever. And he say, "I wouldn't mess with her." Okay, then motherfucker, good shit. You gotta be selfish in that. You ain't trying to please everybody. You ain't getting paid to go out with some certain type of woman. And don't worry about impressing like those dudes. Cause like I said earlier, sometimes that same dude trying to talk some shit about your woman, whatever she look like, that be the main motherfucker that you walk in on a my bad situation. That be the main one walking around holding her hand after you stop messing with her. I actually seen that a few times before. Now that I'm thinking about it more, I've seen a lot of shit. And I've seen some dudes do that. Talk some shit, break up a couple, but then be all up on the woman. Be all up on her. I was like, hold up, I thought you were saying she wasn't all that. Yeah, but they still gonna do their thing. Yeah. But yeah, beauty is in your eyes. Anyway, I gotta get in here, get some vittles. It's raining. It's raining out this joint. Get in here. That's why I got this jacket on. It really ain't that. It's like in the 60s in the car and shit. See, you're a little too big, girl, but I guarantee you probably got a key. I can tell you what, though. That's why I don't give a fuck who the woman is. Somebody want her. In fact, that's why one of my good friends said, shit, and I've said this before. Only thing he was saying, only thing he had for the women was a 0 if he didn't want to fuck him, or 1 if he did. That's his only count. And honestly, that's really smart of him. So anyway, though, I'm going to get some vittles. Yeah, and I'll talk to y'all. Peace.